We all love getting new credit cards, but how often do you sit down and plan not only your next credit card you're going to get, but the next 3 to 4 credit cards? This is one of the most important things you can do to ensure that you're getting the most value out of your credit cards and the spend that you're putting on them. And I don't know about you, but I don't like missing out on free money. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all what cards I have now and why, how to create your own credit card roadmap, and my credit card roadmap going into Q4 of 2022 and into 2023. So as of right now, I have 5 different credit cards, those being the OG Chase Freedom Flex, the Chase Freedom Unlimited, the Citi Custom Cash, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and the Amex Gold card. Now, kind of reiterating what I just talked about in my What's in My Wallet for Q4 2022, I use my OG Chase Freedom for the rotating 5% quarterly categories with Chase, as well as getting $10 per month on my GoPuff credits. I use my Chase Freedom Unlimited as my catch-all card, so I get 1.5% back on the everything else category outside of my normal areas of spend. I use it for 3x back on drugstores, and I get $10 per month with GoPuff using this card as well. As for my Citi Custom Cash, this is what I use to get 5x back on gas every single month. And in that video, I did mention that I use this card for my cell phone protection, but it's come to my awareness that this actually might not give you cell phone protection like I thought it did, and so I apologize for that error in that video. As for my Chase Sapphire Preferred, I use this to get 5x back on travel booked through Chase Ultimate Rewards portal, 3x back on select streaming services, 2x back on general travel purchases, and I also use it for the $50 annual hotel credit through Chase Ultimate Rewards portal, and again, $10 per month with GoPuff. And as for my Amex Gold card, this is going to be my dedicated food card that I use to get 4x back on groceries and 4x back on dining. In addition to that, I also use it whenever I want to book flights directly with an airline because I will get 3x back on flights using that method. And I also take advantage of the $10 per month with Uber Cash that I use for Uber Eats, and $10 per month with the dining credit that I use for Grubhub. So those 5 cards cover my main spending categories at a pretty good earning rate. And obviously the backbone of my setup is going to be the Chase trifecta, surrounded by the Citi Custom Cash and the Amex Gold that give me a little bit of an extra boost in those categories my Chase cards don't earn very well in. I know I flew through those pretty fast, but if you did want to actually see more about the cards I use and why, then go ahead and watch my What's in My Wallet video I talked about earlier. So go ahead and keep those 5 cards in the back of your mind for later in the video when we talk about my personal credit card roadmap. But let's go ahead and talk about how you can create your own credit card roadmap to get you the most value from your credit card setup and allow you to take advantage of all of the free money that you can. So to keep things really simple, I'm just going to talk about the questions that I generally ask people whenever they come to me asking what card I would recommend for them in their personal situation. Because obviously if you can apply that to your own life, then it's going to help you to create a roadmap for yourself that's really beneficial. So of course, the first question I'm going to ask everybody is, what cards do you have now? That's a pretty standard question that you should probably ask first whenever you're looking at your setup personally. But the reason I ask that first is because I want to get a good understanding of where their cards are earning the best in and where they actually are lacking in some of those earning categories. And based on the cards they already have, I can kind of tell what their strategy is going forward. So for yourself, you're going to have to ask yourself these questions as well. And the next question I generally ask is, what kind of points do you want to earn? Are you on team cashback or are you on team travel? Now, in some cases, you may not exactly know where you fall directly into those 2 categories, and that's completely okay. For example, for me, I would say that right now I'm on team travel because I know that I can get the most value from my points by transferring those points out to travel partners with all of my cards. However, some people like it a lot more simple and they just want to get that straight cash back as a statement credit or into their bank account every single month, which I think is perfectly fine. And in reality, I think a lot of people are probably going to be in between. But another reason I ask this question is because sometimes people are on team cashback, but they're actually going to get a new card in order to go on a trip abroad, for example. And there are not a lot of cashback cards out there that have no foreign transaction fees. So that's an important thing to distinguish right up front. You're also going to want to ask yourself how involved you want to be with your credit card points, because some lenders out there like Amex, for example, require you to be a little bit more active with your credit cards in redeeming them. But a card lender like Chase, for example, is going to allow you to actually redeem your points for cashback at a 1 cent per point valuation with no strings attached. The next question I will ask is if they want to have a card with an annual fee or not. This obviously really helps narrow down the pool of cards that you're going to be choosing from when going to get your next card. And of course, at this stage, you can also analyze your setup as it is right now to see if any of your cards are getting negative value in which you want to downgrade or cancel them probably. Now at this point, we're going to have a pretty solid foundation as to what cards you need to be looking at whenever you go to apply for your next credit card. But now we need to get into the more strategy behind your credit card setup going forward into the future. So the next question I would generally ask, or something that you want to know about yourself, is if you would actually consider getting a business card or not. A lot of people are under the impression that in order to get a business card, you need to have a big business that has a lot of spend every single month. So they kind of just write those off in their head before they even think about what kind of cards they're going to get next. But as I'm sure a lot of you know, since you are consuming a lot of credit card content, presumably if you found my channel, you actually don't need to have a big business by any means in order to get approved for a business credit card. You basically just need any kind of income outside of your 9-to-5 job, or just expect to have income outside of your 9-to-5 job within the next year. And to my knowledge, whenever you go to apply for a business card, which I personally haven't actually done yet, but I will be expecting to very soon, as you'll notice later in the video, all you're going to need for a business card application are your expected monthly expenses and your expected annual income from the business. So even if you don't have any money coming in the door just yet, but you expect to be able to make a profit with this business, you can apply for business credit cards. Obviously, business credit cards are not always going to expect you to have a big business to get started with them, because of course sometimes to get the business started you're going to need a line of credit to do so. So what they allow you to do is actually apply with your social security number, and you don't need a special tax identification number or anything like that whenever you first get started with business credit cards. But of course, even if you do have a formal LLC or S Corp or something like that, you can actually apply for a business credit card through your business name. And business cards are not something I've talked about extensively on my channel just yet, and in the next year or so I'm planning on getting a lot of experience with these business credit cards, so I'm going to document that journey for you as I always do. The next question that's really important to ask is, are you under the requirements for the specific lender that you are applying for? For example, the two big lenders out there, Chase and Amex, have a multitude of application rules that you must follow in order to actually get approved for a card. One of the most infamous rules out there being the Chase 524 rule, which states that if you have 5 or more personal cards in the past 24 months with any credit card lender out there, Chase is automatically going to deny you for your next credit card application with them. And then one of Amex's application rules is going to be the 290 rule, which basically states that you cannot be approved for more than 2 Amex cards within 90 days. Now, those are just 2 specific examples, but there are a lot more rules out there with all the different lenders, so just make sure you understand those rules before going into it. For the most part, you're not going to be affected by them as long as you're not getting a card every single month, for example, but it's good to wrap your head around that whenever you're planning out for a year in advance. And then another good question to ask is, do you have a large purchase coming up in the near future, or will you be able to hit this welcome bonus spend with your daily spending? And of course, the reason that you want to ask this is because if you cannot hit the welcome bonus spend that is required for these welcome bonuses, then it kind of defeats the whole purpose of getting a new credit card. I mean, at the end of the day, one of the big reasons that all of us use credit cards is to get rewarded for the spend that we're doing, and the most substantial way you're going to be able to do that is through welcome bonuses. I did just cover 10 or so of the most lucrative bonuses going on right now that you should watch after this as well. But of course, whenever you go to hit these welcome bonus spends, you never want to be spending more money than you actually would naturally in order to get these welcome bonuses, because that's going to nullify all of the rewards you get if you're spending extra to hit those welcome bonuses. On top of that, every lender is going to have a list of rules when it comes to welcome bonuses on their cards, so you're going to want to take advantage of every one you can. For example, Amex has probably one of the most infamous rules in this category because they have the Amex once in a lifetime welcome offer rule, which basically means exactly what it sounds like. For every Amex card that you apply for, you can only ever get that welcome bonus once. So to create your own roadmap is going to be pretty simple. You basically need to understand what cards you already have and where your cards are lacking currently. Then you're going to want to understand your overall strategy, like what kind of points you want to earn, what kind of annual fees you want to have, as well as whether you're open to personal and business cards, or if you just want to keep yourself on the personal side of things. Then you're going to want to be able to forecast what you have going on in the next year. You want to know what kind of constraints you have on your credit card applications, like what your Chase 524 status is, for example. And you want to be able to know what kind of large purchases you have coming up in the next year, or how much you generally spend every single month. That way you don't have to overspend to hit some of these welcome bonuses that come with these cards. So now that we have the general outline of what you need to know in order to go ahead and create your own credit card roadmap, let's go ahead and dive deeper into my personal credit card roadmap and what credit cards I'm going to be getting in quarter 4 of 2022 and into 2023. So zooming back to the start of this video, you can remember that I have 5 different credit cards that I have right now, and I've gotten all of those cards within the past 24 months, meaning that I am at 524 with Chase. Now I'll be at 524 until January of 2023, in which I will drop to 424 because my OG Chase Freedom, which used to be my Chase Freedom student card, will finally be 2 years old. And for me, I actually do want to be able to apply for more Chase cards down the line, so that's why I am waiting for my status to drop back below 424 before I apply for another Chase card. Some people out there really don't care about their 524 status anymore because they're too far gone and they might be at like 10 or 13, 24. So your strategy is obviously going to be completely different if you're in one of those situations compared to me. So what I've been doing since I got my last credit card, the Amex Gold card, back in June, is gardening my 524 status with Chase. So basically what that means is that I've already planted all 5 of those credit cards that I can get within 2 years, and I'm kind of just tending to them and letting my credit score grow until I'm back under 524, which will happen in January of 2023. So my roadmap from a bird's eye view is that I'll be waiting until January of 2023 before I apply for any more personal credit cards. But one key thing that I haven't mentioned is that business credit cards do not report to your personal credit report. Well, that's at least the rule for most business credit cards out there, but some of the cards that you get from either Discover or Capital One, I think, and maybe a couple more, are going to report to your personal credit report, so definitely don't get those. But the fact that business credit cards don't report to your personal credit report mean that I can apply for those without affecting my 524 status. But for me, I do want the ability to apply for Chase Inc. business credit cards, and in order to apply for another Chase card, whether that's personal or business, I still need to be under 524. So what that means is that I cannot apply for a Chase Inc. business card until January of 2023. So I really have 2 main options I can decide between right now. Either I can sit on my hands until January of 2023, where I will be applying for a Chase Inc. business credit card, or I could go ahead and apply for a non-Chase business credit card that will keep my status at 524 and not push me any higher. That would allow me to go ahead and take advantage of all the spend I'll be doing over the holidays this year, and it'll also let me build up my business credit before I apply for a Chase Inc. business card, which could be a positive. So as you can see, this is a perfect example of where your credit card roadmap may get a little bit rocky. So what I'm going to do is go ahead ahead and break down both of those scenarios and decide between the two to see which one is better for me. First, let's go ahead and say that I decide to apply for a non-Chase business credit card in order to actually take advantage of all of that spend that I'll be doing in this quarter. That of course begs the question of what business card would I go with? And as of right now, the only business credit card besides the Chase Ink line of cards that I'm pretty interested in is going to be the Amex Blue Business Plus card. For those of y'all that are curious, this card basically just earns 2x back on everything up to $50,000 worth of spend and then 1x on everything else. It also has a brother, the Amex Blue Business Cash, that does the same thing but in cashback form. But for me, as I am on team travel, I want to be able to take advantage of all those Amex membership rewards points. So it would make more sense for me to go with the Amex Blue Business Plus over the Amex Blue Business Cash card. Right now, this card comes with two different welcome offers, one 15,000 Amex membership reward point offer after spending $3,000 in the first 3 months, and one 50,000 point targeted offer after spending $15,000 in the first year of having the card. At a value of 2 cents per point that I value my Amex membership rewards points at, that would give me $300 worth of value with the first welcome offer, which would give me a 10% return on spend. But if I decide to go with the second offer, I could get $1,000 worth of value, but that's with $15,000 worth of spend over a year, and that would only give me a 6.67% return on spend. And the main thing to consider here is going to be the opportunity cost between these two welcome bonuses. And also, as I mentioned earlier, you have to keep in mind that Amex has a once-in-a-lifetime rule on all of their credit card applications. So since I can only get one of these bonuses, theoretically it would make more sense for me to go for the higher welcome bonus offer at 50,000 Amex membership rewards points. But at the same time, that welcome offer only gives me about half of the return on spend that the first welcome offer gives me, and would require me to spend on that card for a lot longer period of time. Honestly, it probably would take me the whole year to spend $15,000 on that card. So the opportunity cost of me only using one credit card in 2023 to get 50,000 membership rewards points is a really large cost to be paying. So after thinking on this for a while, I think I would have to go with the 15,000 Amex membership reward point offer for only spending $3,000 in 3 months, because that would free me up again in January to go ahead and apply for another card, and that one would be a Chase Ink business card. And on top of that, if I did hit the welcome bonus spend on that card, I could apply for another Chase Ink business card and get even more points for the spend that I do next year. So that's the first offer of me going ahead and applying for a card now instead of waiting until January. But let's talk about the second option that I have right now. That being that I would keep letting my personal credit score grow, and I will wait until January of 2023 to apply for my first Chase Ink business card, and that would be the Chase Ink Cash card. So for those of y'all that are curious, this card earns 5% on the first 25K in combined spend at office supply stores, internet, cable, and phone services, 2% on the first 25K in combined spend at gas stations and restaurants, and 1x back on everything else. But right now, this card does come with a really high welcome offer of 75,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points after spending $7,500 on purchases in the first 3 months of having the card. Now, valuing those points again at 2 cents per point, that would give me $1,500 worth of travel value. So the return on spend there, if I went with the travel route, would be 20% return on spend. And with that welcome bonus and those earning categories alone, this card is going to be added to my wallet in 2023 no matter what. It covers multiple categories that my other cards don't, and to be a card that I'd love to be able to use in my arsenal. However, it does come with a pretty hefty spend requirement of $7,500 in 3 months of having the card. Whenever I do manage to hit that welcome bonus spend, I might let my bank account refresh a bit, but then I'll go ahead and apply for the Chase Ink Unlimited card, which is the other no annual fee Chase Ink business card. The Chase Ink Unlimited card also comes with the 75,000 point offer after spending the same $7,500 in the first 3 months of having the card, which would be valued at again $1,500 for travel. Now this card earns a little bit differently. It just earns 1.5x on all purchases, and since I already have my Chase Freedom Unlimited, which does the same thing plus more categories, I'm not really in a hurry to get this card, and it would mainly be getting it for just the welcome bonus. So now for a side-by-side comparison between the two options. Option 1, I would be able to go ahead and get the Amex Blue Business Plus here in October of 2022, and then add the Chase Ink Cash and Chase Ink Unlimited to my setup in 2023. And then to hit the welcome bonus spend on the Blue Business Plus, I need to spend $3,000, and for the two Chase Ink business cards, I'd have to spend $7,500 each, bringing me to a grand total of $18,000 worth of spend between now and the end of 2023. And if I did that, I'd be awarded with 15,000 Amex membership rewards points and 150,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points, as long as the offers don't change, of course. And if you combine all of those points from all 3 of those welcome bonuses, that would give me a $3,300 value from those welcome bonuses at a 2 cent per point valuation when transferring them out to travel partners. And with option 2, of course, I would basically just not be getting the Amex Blue Business Plus here in Q4 of 2022, and I would still have to spend $15,000 combined on those 2 Chase Ink business card welcome bonuses, and I would get a total of 150,000 points in 2023 with those 2 welcome bonuses alone, and that would give me $3,000 worth of free travel when transferring out to travel partners. But if I was to do that, I would of course be missing out on a free $300 that I could get through the end of this year. So my plan right now is most likely to go ahead and apply for the Amex Blue Business Plus here in October of 2022, and then I'll use that card for all of my purchases up until I hit that $3,000 spending limit. And then even if it takes me the full 3 months to hit that welcome bonus, that will still put me in January of 2023 when I finish that welcome bonus spend, and I'll be ready to go ahead and apply for my first Chase Ink business card, the Chase Ink Cash Card. And then of course my plan would still be to get the Chase Ink Unlimited later in the year. But to me, it almost just makes sense to go ahead and get a new card right now to build up my business credit like I talked about earlier and take advantage of all the spend I'll be doing throughout the holidays. However, with all that being said, I should note that in either June or July of 2023, I can't exactly remember right now, I will be at 324 with Chase. So at that point, if a personal card comes out that I really want, I'll probably go ahead and apply for it instead of the Chase Ink Unlimited. And then at that point, I'll still be at 424, so I could still apply for the Chase Ink Unlimited business card and continue gardening my 524 status through the end of the year. So obviously my credit card roadmap is going to look vastly different than yours, and it's always going to be a case-by-case basis. Also, this video was supposed to kind of serve as a part 2 to my What's in My Wallet video that I posted a couple weeks ago, and you can watch that here next. Thank you guys so much for watching this video as always. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.